People often say life changes in a single moment, but no one ever told Daniel Reeves that his moment would arrive in the form of a roaring red Ferrari and a woman who seemed far too powerful to ever step foot in his small-town garage. He was a single father, surviving day by day, one car engine and one school lunch at a time. She was a CEO on the edge of losing everything her family had built. And neither of them imagined that a broken engine, a hidden talent, and an unexpected proposal would bind their fates in a way that would challenge everything they believed about love, sacrifice, and second chances. Daniel Reeves wiped the grease from his hands and checked the time again. 5 minutes until his daughter Emily would call after school, reminding him proudly that she'd finished her homework early. She always announced it like a little victory, because she knew how hard her father worked to hold their fragile world together. Ever since his wife left years ago without warning, Daniel had fought to be both mother and father, and though the struggle was endless, Emily gave him strength he never knew he had. He reached for a wrench when the garage suddenly filled with the echo of a smooth, thunderous engine. It wasn't the usual pickup or aging sedan he worked on every day. This sound was polished, expensive, out of place. When the Ferrari pulled in, gleaming bright red like a foreign jewel, Daniel blinked twice. But it wasn't the car that stunned him, it was the woman stepping out of it. She was poised, elegant, dressed in a fitted black blazer that looked like it cost more than Daniel's monthly rent. Her expression was calm, but her eyes carried a weight he instantly recognized, someone holding up a world that threatened to collapse any second. "My car, it died on the highway," she said, voice steady but urgent. "I was told you're the only mechanic within 50 miles who can work with modified engines like this." Daniel swallowed. "I'll take a look." She introduced herself as Maya Hartwell. The name meant nothing to him initially, but her tone carried authority, someone used to commanding boardrooms, not mechanic shops littered with tools and oil stains. She hovered near the car as Daniel inspected the engine. Within minutes, his eyes widened. "This isn't factory-made," he murmured. "Someone customized the system, but whoever did it didn't understand the electrical flow. If I don't fix this now, it'll fry the whole drive unit." She stared at him, surprised. "You saw that just by looking?" Daniel shrugged. "It's what I do. I've been rebuilding engines since I was a teenager." What he didn't mention was his rare gift. He could almost feel the mechanics, understanding faults others couldn't see. It wasn't magic, just a mind wired differently, sharper around engines than around anything else. Maya watched him work for almost an hour, her phone buzzing repeatedly. Each time she glanced at the screen, her expression darkened. Bad news. More pressure. When Daniel finally closed the hood, she let out a breath she'd been holding too long. "It's running now," he said. "But if you don't mind me asking, are you okay?" Her composure cracked, just for a moment. "My company is collapsing," she admitted quietly. "I inherited it from my father, but we're losing investors. There's a merger proposal, but it would cost me everything. I'm trying to prevent that." Daniel didn't know why she was telling him, a stranger covered in grease and exhaustion. But sometimes people confess their fears to those who have no expectations of them. Before she could say more, Daniel's phone rang. "Emily." He smiled as he answered. "Hey, sweetheart, yeah, I'm almost done, of course I'll be there for dinner." Maya watched him, and something softened in her eyes. When he hung up, she whispered, "You're a good father." Daniel smiled faintly. "Trying my best." She was about to leave when a folder slipped from her purse. Papers scattered across the floor. As she hastily gathered them, Daniel caught a glimpse: financial charts, investor withdrawals, legal notices. A company on the brink. Maya froze when she noticed him looking. Shame flickered in her eyes. "Please forget you saw that," she said. "People expect strength from me. They don't forgive weakness." Daniel didn't pity her. He simply said, "Everyone breaks sometimes. Doesn't mean you stay broken." She left in silence, but not before glancing back at him with an expression he couldn't quite understand. The next morning, the Ferrari returned. But this time, she wasn't holding car keys. She was holding a small velvet ring box. Daniel nearly dropped the wrench in his hand when he saw her standing in the garage doorway, breathing hard as if she'd sprinted from a storm. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes rimmed with sleeplessness. And in her hands, a ring, something elegant, something clearly not meant for a simple mechanic. Maya? What? Daniel. I need your help. Her voice trembled. I'm about to lose everything. My board wants me to accept a merger with a man who wants control over my company and my life. My father built Hartwell Corporation with ethics and dignity, and I can't let it fall into the wrong hands. What does that have to do with me? Daniel asked slowly. She took a breath that visibly hurt her. There's one loophole in the contract my father created years ago. If I marry before the merger date, full control remains with me and passes to my spouse, not the board. I spent the night thinking, and I realized I couldn't marry someone hungry for power. I need someone honest. Someone who doesn't want anything from me. Daniel stared, speechless. You want me to marry you, to save your company? Yes, she whispered. A temporary arrangement. Strictly formal. I'll compensate you for the inconvenience. I just need someone trustworthy, and yesterday, when I saw you with your daughter, I knew you were the only person who didn't see me as a CEO, or a target. You spoke to me like a human. Daniel set the wrench down, heartbeat pounding. He was a single father barely keeping his life afloat. Marriage, fake or not, was unimaginable. But Maya wasn't asking out of greed. She was desperate, scared, human. Why me? He asked again. Because you're the first person who didn't treat me like I was made of steel, she replied. And maybe I'm tired of pretending I am. Daniel looked at the ring box. At her trembling hands. At the reflection of his own life, broken, patched together, still standing. Let me think, he said quietly. She nodded, expecting rejection. She turned to leave, when suddenly the lights flickered. A transformer outside blew, sending a spark through the garage. The Ferrari, still partially open, caught the electrical surge. The wiring, already unstable, began to smoke. Without thinking, Daniel rushed forward. Maya screamed his name, but Daniel reached into the hood, using only instinct and raw talent to disconnect the power source. Smoke filled the air, the engine hissed, but Daniel didn't stop until it was safe. When it was over, Maya looked at him with a mix of awe and fear. You could have been hurt, she whispered. He shrugged. I've been through worse. But she stepped closer, eyes glistening. Daniel, people don't risk themselves for me. Not anymore. He saw the truth then, beneath all her power, she was drowning alone. And he realized he wasn't just saving her company, she needed someone who believed in her. Maybe he needed someone to believe in him too. He exhaled deeply. Maya, if this marriage is what you need to keep your father's legacy alive, I'll help you. Her breath caught. For the first time since he met her, she looked as if she might cry. Thank you, she whispered. You don't know what this means to me. Daniel picked up the ring box, opened it slowly, and said the words that would change both their lives. When do we start? But as Maya looked at him, really looked at him, she knew something else had just begun. Something she didn't expect. Something far more dangerous than losing a company. She felt the first spark of falling for the man she was supposed to marry only on paper. And Daniel, as he stared at the ring in his hand, wondered if, for the first time in years, life was giving him a second chance at something bigger than survival.